The last time I saw my sister Layla, she was watching me with that cool, victorious look across the polished dining table in my parents' formal dining room. My mother, Caroline, wasn't sobbing into a napkin like some delicate flower. She was stiff with disapproval, her lips a thin line. My father, Robert, had just finished delivering the final blow, his voice heavy with disdain. Honestly, Scarlett, playing shop on the internet? Some people are built for substance. Others chase trends. I was Scarlett, and that night 5 years ago was the last time I let my family decide who I was going to be. Sweetheart, we just want you to be realistic, Mother said, her tone laced with condescension. Layla has a position at the Heritage Foundation, preserving history that matters. You could get a nice, stable job. Layla offered to put in a word for you at the firm connected to the foundation. There's an administrative opening. The one where I'd be sorting mail and making coffee? I cut in, my voice steadier than my hands felt, clenched under the table. My palms were sweating. Layla smiled, a perfect, serene expression that didn't reach her eyes. Everyone has to start somewhere, Scarlett. Some of us just start with actual credentials and connections. The familiar knot of inadequacy tightened in my stomach. For 20-something years, I'd been measured against Layla, the golden child. Her achievements were milestones. Mine were dismissed as whims. My passion, my vision for creating beautiful custom home goods and selling them directly online, was treated like a child's lemonade stand. Layla's work at the prestigious Historical Foundation, dealing with dusty artifacts and wealthy donors, was elevated to a noble calling. I already have a business, I said quietly, looking at my father. It's growing. We're getting orders. We. Father scoffed, swirling the amber liquid in his glass. You and that friend of yours, Lucas? Tinkering in a garage? Meanwhile, your sister is working with priceless artifacts, preserving culture, making real contributions. She's making contributions to her portfolio, you mean? I muttered under my breath. Silence fell, thick and sudden. Layla's perfect smile finally fractured, a flicker of sharp anger in her eyes. What exactly are you implying, Scarlett? She hissed. Before I could respond, Mother jumped in, sharp and defensive. Scarlett, apologize to your sister. After everything she's done. Done for me. I laughed, and it sounded hollow, alien in that stiff room. What exactly has she done except make sure I never forgot how much of a disappointment I am? Enough. Father slammed his glass down, the crystal ringing. You've always been jealous of Layla. If you spent half as much time applying yourself as you do complaining. Applying myself? I stood up, the chair scraping loudly on the floor. My voice was rising now, fueled by years of banked frustration. I work 80 hours a week building something from nothing. I'm dealing with manufacturing, logistics, marketing. I'm creating beautiful things people want. But you've never once asked, have you? Sit down, Scarlett. We are not finished. Mother commanded, her face set. Actually, we are. I grabbed my small purse from the back of the chair. I'm done being the family project that needs fixing. I'm done watching you worship Layla while treating me like I'm some broken, embarrassing secret. I'm just done. Layla's voice dripped with fake concern, her composure returning, weaponized. Mom, Dad, she's just having one of her episodes. Remember that time in college? Goodbye, I cut her off, walking towards the door. My hand was shaking as I reached for the doorknob. Don't try to contact me. If you walk out that door, Father's voice was cold steel behind me. You walk away from everything. Don't come crawling back when your little hobby fails, and you will fail. I paused, my hand on the cool brass knob, and looked back. Mother's tight, angry face, Father's rigid posture of dismissal, and Layla's undeniable, satisfied smirk. They looked exactly as they always had, a tableau of perfect expectation, with me as the glaring imperfection. I won't fail, I said again, louder this time, my voice finding its strength. And I won't be crawling back. Watch me build something you can only dream of. I opened the door and stepped out, closing it softly but decisively behind me. The silence that followed wasn't emptiness. It was the sound of a chain breaking. 5 years passed. 5 years of relentless work, of sleepless nights, of facing challenges that would have made my parents say, "I told you so," if they'd known. 5 years of silence from my family, a silence I welcomed like a healing balm. I poured every ounce of energy, every frustrated tear, every dismissed dream into building something real. Lucas was there, my partner in crime, my grounding force. We started in a cramped workshop, surrounded by sawdust and the smell of varnish. We built our first pieces, listed them online, packed orders ourselves. The business grew, slowly at first, then exploding faster than we could have imagined. From custom furniture, we expanded into luxury home goods, lighting, decor. We opened manufacturing facilities, hired hundreds of employees, built a global supply chain. My hobby became an empire. I lived deliberately quietly. My address wasn't public, my personal life was private. My social media was curated and professional, focused on the brand, never my private success. It wasn't just about keeping it from my family, it was about protecting my peace, my sanity. The thought of them trying to insert themselves, to pick apart my success, to find fault, was enough to make me guard my life fiercely. 5 years of peace. Until my phone buzzed this morning. A message from Riley, my cousin. Hey stranger, you're not going to believe this, but Grandma Emmy's 80th birthday party is next month. Whole family is coming. Layla's organizing everything and she's acting super weird, asking about you a lot. Seems like she's planning something big. I stared at the message, my coffee growing cold beside my laptop. From the window of my office, in the building my company owned, I could see the sprawling Atlanta skyline. It was a view that represented everything I had built, everything they had dismissed. Another message from Riley popped up. You should come. Show them who you are now. My finger hovered over the delete button. The thought of facing them, of that suffocating judgment, made me tense. But then I thought of Layla, planning something big, asking about me. She still couldn't stand the thought of me being okay, let alone successful. Just then, a news alert flashed on my screen. A prominent business publication, e-commerce innovator disrupts market, CEO Scarlett. My photo, pulled from a company press release, stared back at me. The article detailed our growth, our valuation, our impact. Undeniable proof, laid out for the world. A cold calm settled over me. Layla wanted to plan something? She wanted a show? All right, Layla, I murmured to myself, looking at the city below. Let's give you a show you'll never forget. I typed a reply to Riley. Tell me everything about this party. Someone's been poking around, Lucas said, dropping into the chair across my desk, his usual easy smile replaced by a serious expression. Deep dives. Not just competitor analysis. They're pulling personal background checks, property records, digging into old business filings. I minimized the financials on my screen. Let me guess. My sister. Lucas nodded, leaning forward slightly despite us being alone in my spacious corner office. Not directly through her name. But the inquiries track back to a private investigation firm. And Riley's been messaging me, freaking out. She says Layla is losing it, talking about you nonstop in the family chat, saying you're living a fake life, involved in something illegal. A chill went down my spine, but it was quickly replaced by a hardening resolve. She hired a PI? Looks like it, Lucas confirmed. Mann Investigations. Heard of them? David Mann? Seems she wants definitive proof you're a fraud. To expose you. Where would she even get the money for that? I frowned. Layla worked for a nonprofit foundation. It wasn't like she had vast personal wealth. Good question, Lucas said. Their fees aren't cheap. Riley mentioned Layla's been complaining about money lately, trying to access the family trust account that Grandma Emmy manages. Just then my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. I opened it. It was a photo, a clear, high-quality shot of me from yesterday morning, walking into this building, coffee in hand. The angle was from across the street, taken with a powerful lens. In the lower corner, almost invisible, a tiny watermark, Mann Investigations. A cold, hard knot formed in my stomach, different from the old anxiety. This was calculated, invasive. They were watching me. Then my phone rang. Grandma Emmy's number. I almost didn't answer, bracing myself. But then I remembered Riley's messages, the PI photo, and Grandma's earlier call hinting at Layla's odd behavior. I swiped to answer. About time you picked up, Grandma Emmy's voice, sharp but steady, came through. It was the voice of a matriarch who saw everything but rarely commented unless it mattered. Your sister's been filling everyone's heads with nonsense about you being some sort of con artist. Is she now? I said, trying to keep my voice level. Don't play coy with me, girl, Grandma said, impatient. Are you coming to this party or not? Layla's acting like it's a public execution, not a birthday. Would you want me there? I hesitated. Wouldn't have asked if I didn't, she said, her tone softening slightly. Look, something's not right. Layla's panicked, spending money like water, asking questions about things. I've started a quiet audit of some family accounts, related trusts, just to see what's what. Notice some odd figures in the foundation accounts she manages, too, before all this blows up. So, are you coming? My eyes fixed on the surveillance photo on my screen. They were watching me. Layla was building a case. But she had no idea what I had built. Yes, Grandma, I said, my voice firming with each word. I'm coming. Good, she said simply. Don't let her run her mouth without you there to set things straight. And be careful. She's desperate. After hanging up, I called Lucas back in. Layla hired man investigations. They're watching the building, taking photos. Lucas whistled low. She's really going for it. Let her, I said, my gaze fixed on the skyline outside. She wants to expose me? Fine. But I need to know exactly what she thinks she has. And I need to understand how she's paying for it. I looked at the photo again, the undeniable proof of my reality captured by her PI. Layla wanted to prove I was a failure? She had handed me the first piece of evidence of her expensive mistake. I picked up my desk phone. Lucas, remember your contact who knew the PI firm? I asked. I need to arrange a meeting with David Mann. As soon as possible. David Mann's office was exactly what you'd expect from a seasoned private investigator. Worn leather chairs, filing cabinets overflowing with manila folders, a desk that looked like it had seen decades of secrets. Mann himself was sharp, his eyes missing nothing. He didn't stand when I entered, a subtle power play. Lucas sat slightly behind me, observant. Miss Francis, he said, his voice gravelly. I assume this is about the surveillance photos you received. You assumed right, I replied, meeting his gaze directly as I sat down. Why are you taking pictures of me for my sister? He steepled his fingers. Client confidentiality. Client confidentiality didn't stop you from sending me that photo, I countered smoothly. A flicker of something, respect? Amusement? Crossed his face. So, either you're playing both sides or something about this case made you reach out. Which is it? Mann was silent for a moment, assessing me. Then he opened a desk drawer and pulled out a thick manila envelope. Your sister, Layla, she hired me to prove you were lying about your success. She was quite insistent that you were living a fabricated life, potentially involved in some kind of fraud to maintain appearances. She wanted definitive proof you were broke, unstable, maybe even living off illicit funds. He slid the thick envelope across the desk. Instead, I found this. I opened it. Inside were documents, financial reports, press clippings, photos. Not of failure, but of immense success. My company's valuation reports, listing figures with more zeros than Layla could comprehend. Property deeds for headquarters, facilities, my own home. Articles detailing our growth and innovation. Photos of our global distribution centers. It was all there, meticulously documented proof of the empire I had built in silence. Impressive portfolio, Mann said quietly. Self-made. Clean. Legal. The opposite of what your client wanted to find. So why show me? I asked, looking up from the documents. Because while investigating your background and financial sources, Mann continued, as requested by your sister to disprove any legitimate wealth. I found something else. He pulled a second, thinner envelope from the drawer. Something that didn't fit. This was misfiled in your sister's source documents related to potential family funds you might be accessing. I don't believe she knows I have it. My hands trembled slightly as I opened the second envelope. Inside was a single bank statement and a few transaction records, clearly from the Heritage Foundation's accounts. My blood ran cold as I saw it, irregular transfers, mismatched amounts, money flowing out to personal accounts, records of sales. Is this what I think it is? I whispered, looking at the figures. Man nodded. Your sister has been embezzling from the foundation. Systematically. Diverting funds meant for operations, programs, even selling off minor donated artifacts and pocketing the money. Started small, grew larger over time. And he added, his voice flat, her recent large payments to my firm? They came directly from these foundation accounts. Layla had used stolen money to pay a PI to ruin me. The sheer audacity took my breath away. An independent audit of the foundation's finances began about 3 months ago, man said, leaning back. She doesn't know they're specifically onto the embezzlement yet, but she will. He looked at me, his gaze sharp. Here's the thing, Ms. Francis. I don't like being used, and I don't like clients who lie. Your sister hired me, fed me a narrative of you as a dishonest leech. Instead, I found someone who built something real through hard work. And I found this. He gestured to the second envelope. Take them, both reports. Consider it payment for my time and a professional courtesy. Why are you really helping me? I asked again. A grim smile touched his lips. Let's just say, I have a sister too. And sometimes karma needs a little push. Your sister built a stage to tear you down. She just paid for the materials herself. Outside man's office, the city air felt different. Lighter, sharper. I called Lucas. It's better than we thought, I said, sliding into the back of the car. Layla didn't just hire a PI to expose my failure. She paid him with stolen money from her foundation. And the PI found proof of my success and her crime. Lucas let out a low whistle. Poetic justice. She's planning to present the PI report at Grandma's party, I continued, looking at the thick envelope on the seat beside me. Thinking it will humiliate me, show everyone I'm a fraud. Instead, she'll be presenting undeniable proof of my legitimate success to our entire family. And she has no idea I know about the other report. She paid for her own takedown, Lucas said, a hint of dark amusement in his voice. Want to bet where she got the money to hire man investigations? Besides the foundation, I mean. Don't tell me, I sighed, already knowing the answer. The family trust account. The one she always managed because I wasn't responsible enough. My phone buzzed. A message from my mother. Jayla, please don't come to the party. Don't make things worse than they already are. You'll only embarrass yourself. I deleted it without responding. 5 years ago, I'd walked away from their table feeling broken, a failure in their eyes. This time, I would walk in knowing exactly who I was, and more importantly, who Layla really was. Lucas, I said, looking at the envelopes. Remember how you asked what I was planning? Yeah. I'm not planning anything elaborate anymore, I said, a slow, confident smile spreading across my face. I'm just going to let Layla's plan play out exactly as she intended. Sometimes, the best revenge is just sitting back and watching someone destroy themselves with the weapon they bought and paid for. The party was 2 weeks away. For the first time in my life, I couldn't wait for a family gathering. Holy hell, Lucas breathed, spreading the PI reports and foundation documents across the conference table in my office. The scale of it was laid bare. My company's financials showing explosive growth, assets, revenue, contrasted sharply with the foundation's statements showing fraudulent transfers, shell companies, forged invoices for conservation work that didn't exist. Meredith wanted proof, I said, looking at a photo of one of our sprawling fulfillment centers in the PI report. She got it. Just not the proof she wanted. Lucas held up a document detailing a transaction. She even used foundation funds to pay man investigations directly. It's right here, disguised as a consulting fee. And she dipped into the family trust too, I added, pulling up a different statement on my laptop, one Lucas had helped me legally access now that I had the full picture. Just before Grandma locked it down. Used $10,000 from it the same day as a large transfer from the foundation. Can she even legally do that? Lucas asked, looking at the trust rules. No, I said, a cold laugh escaping me. Requires approval from all beneficiaries. But she probably thought I'd never check, since I haven't touched that account in years. My office door opened, and my assistant, Sarah, poked her head in. Sorry to interrupt, but you need to see this. Layla just posted in the family Facebook group. I pulled it up on my laptop. There it was, a long dramatic post about painful truths, deception within the family, and the need to protect Grandma Emmy from upsetting realities. She'd even tagged Grandma. "Look at the comments," Lucas said, leaning over my shoulder. "A flood of thinking of you and stay strong from various relatives. My mother's predictable, it's for the best, sweetheart. Some people need help." My father's stern, "The truth is hard for some to handle." Only one comment cut through the noise. "Grandma Emmy's. Careful what truths you dig for, girl. You might not like what you find." "Grandma knows something," Lucas said. "She knows everything," I corrected him, closing the laptop. "That's why Layla's doing this at the birthday party. She thinks Grandma's presence and the family audience will somehow legitimize her attack. Give it weight." My phone buzzed. An email from David Mann. "Your client just demanded the final report. Says she needs it for a family presentation. Thought you should know." I typed back immediately. "Let her have it." Lucas raised an eyebrow. "You're really going to let her stand up there and do it?" "Watch," I said, pointing at the trust account record still on my screen, and then the foundation audit documents. "Layla's so focused on painting me as a criminal. She's getting sloppy. She thinks she's cornered me. But she's getting audited, the trust is locked, and she has no idea I know where she got the money to hire Mann in the first place." "And Grandma started the audit," Lucas mused. "Exactly," I smiled. "Grandma suspected. She dug." Now Layla is about to present proof of my completely legitimate multi-million-dollar empire to a grandmother who already has proof of Layla's far-from legitimate financial activities. Layla hired a PI to dig my grave, and he handed her a shovel while standing over her own. Sarah reappeared at the door. "Miss Francis, your board meeting is in 10 minutes. "Thanks, Sarah." I stood up, straightening my jacket. "Lucas, can you make sure all these documents are secured? The party's in 10 days. Layla isn't the only one who knows how to make a presentation. Are you actually going to expose her in front of everyone?" he asked again, a hint of doubt in his voice. I thought about all the years of being belittled, the snickers, the dismissive waves of the hand, Layla's condescending pity. I thought about the Christmas dinner, Father's ultimatum, Layla's smirk. "No," I said finally, picking up my phone. "I'm going to let her expose herself. And I'm going to make sure everyone is watching." My phone buzzed one last time. A message from Grandma Emmy. "Got my party invitation today. Says you're coming. About time, girl. Bring that backbone. I know you've grown." I smiled, typing back. "Don't worry, Grandma. I'm not the same person who left 5 years ago." "Good," she replied instantly. "Because neither is your sister. And only one of you is going to like how this party ends." Looking at the documents spread across the table, proof of my rise and Layla's impending fall, I knew exactly which one of us that would be. Sometimes karma needs a little help. And sometimes, it just needs a grand stage and a captive audience. The week before Grandma's party felt like a countdown to a highly anticipated, slightly terrifying performance. The messages from Mother became daily guilt trips, laced with increasing desperation. "Please reconsider coming. You'll only embarrass yourself. Layla is so worried about you. Why can't you just let us help?" Delete. 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 They truly believed Layla's narrative, or perhaps they desperately needed to. I was in the middle of a high-stakes negotiation call when Riley called, 3 times in a row. I finally stepped out onto my private balcony to answer. "You need to hear this, Scarlett," Riley said, her voice hushed and frantic. "I was just at Layla's apartment. Mom sent me over with something." She was on the phone, shouting at someone named David. "She's planning to do her presentation right after Grandma's cake. She said she has to save the family from your lies before anyone else finds out." "Did she say finds out about what?" I asked, leaning against the railing. "No. But she's acting manic, Jay. Keeps checking her bank accounts on her phone, looking stressed out of her mind. Oh, and she was furious yesterday. She tried to access the trust fund again, the one Grandma manages, and Grandma locked it down completely for routine audit purposes." Layla threw her phone across the room. "Perfect," I murmured, a genuine smile touching my lips. The pressure was getting to her. "Thanks, Riley. Keep me posted. And be careful." Back inside, Lucas was waiting with his own news. Your sister tried to get into the building this morning. Security stopped her at the lobby. I walked to the window. 15 floors below, I could just make out the figure in a distinctive red coat storming towards a waiting car. Layla. What did she want? To speak with the CEO, Lucas grinned. Guess she doesn't know the CEO prefers to remain private. My phone buzzed. A text from David Mann. Your client is getting desperate. Asked me to dig deeper. Find something more damaging. Told her the report was final. I was about to reply when another call came in. Grandma Emmy. You busy? She asked when I answered. Never too busy for you, Grandma. Good, she said. Because I'm outside your building. Saw your sister making a scene down here. Figured it was time we talked face to face. A pause. Nice office you've got. Corner suite, I'm guessing. 10 minutes later, Grandma Emmy sat across from me in my office, looking exactly as I remembered. Elegant, sharp-eyed, and completely unimpressed by the panoramic city view that made most visitors gasp. Sarah had served her tea in fine china, and Grandma held the cup with a steady hand. So, she said, setting the cup down. This is what you've been hiding. I wasn't hiding. Save it. She waved her hand, a dismissive gesture that in her felt powerful, not demeaning. I've known about your success for months. Saw the magazine article, had people confirm things. What I want to know is why you let them think otherwise for so long. Would they have believed me if I'd told them? I asked, meeting her gaze. She paused, a flicker of sadness in her eyes. No, she admitted. They'd have assumed you were exaggerating, or worse, lying. Just like Layla does now, even though she's seen proof in that report she commissioned. You know about Fletcher's report? I know about a lot of things, she said, picking up her phone. She showed me a document on the screen. This audit report on your sister's foundation accounts, for example. Very interesting reading. Grandma, I started, a lump forming in my throat. Don't worry, she said, her expression hardening. Layla wants to make a spectacle. I won't spoil her little presentation. But when this is over, things will change. Permanently. She stood up, straightening her jacket with quiet dignity. Just tell me one thing. Are you ready for the fallout? Because when the truth comes out, nothing in this family will be the same. Before I could fully respond, my phone lit up with a message from my father. Your mother is in tears over what you're putting Layla through. I hope you're happy. I showed it to Grandma Emmy. She read it and actually laughed, a short, sharp sound. Oh, they have no idea what's coming, do they? She headed for the door, then paused. Wear that Navy Power suit to the party, darling. The one from your magazine shoot. It'll look good in the photos everyone will be taking, when Layla's presentation backfires spectacularly. She winked. I may be turning 80, but I still know how to stage an event. After she left, Lucas came in, looking surprised. Was that really Grandma Emmy? The one and only, I confirmed, a sense of deep calm settling over me. She seemed terrifying, Lucas admitted. I was going to say, prepared, I corrected him. My phone buzzed one final time. A text from Layla. Last chance, Scarlett. Back out now or I will destroy everything you've pretended to build. I thought about the reports locked in my safe, proof of her deceit and my undeniable reality. I thought about Grandma Emmy's knowing smile. I thought about 5 years of silence, struggle, and building strength. You can't destroy what's real, I typed back. Then I pulled up the party invitation on my screen. 3 days to go. 3 days until Layla would stand up, thinking she was about to tear me down, only to reveal her own ruin instead. Lucas, I called out, feeling lighter than I had in years. Clear my schedule for Monday. I've got a birthday party to attend. And a sister to watch self-destruct. The country club ballroom fell silent the moment I walked in. Conversations stopped mid-sentence. Champagne glasses froze halfway to lips. Every eye in the room turned to stare. I hadn't been to a family event in 5 years, and my entrance, in the tailored Navy Power suit Grandma had suggested, was clearly an event. It wasn't just the suit. It was the way I carried myself, the quiet confidence forged in years of building an empire while they weren't watching. I spotted Layla near the cake table, her face changing from expectant smugness to utter shock as she took me in. Mother and father were nearby, their expressions a mixture of bewildered surprise and deep discomfort. "Scarlett." Mother's voice cracked across the silence. "What are you? How are you?" "Happy birthday, Grandma," I said, ignoring Mother and walking straight to where Grandma Emmy sat regally at her place of honor. I handed her a small, beautifully wrapped box, a custom-designed heirloom piece from my company, something meaningful she had mentioned years ago. "Right on time," Grandma said, her voice clear and loud enough for everyone to hear. She took the gift, her eyes warm, and patted the empty seat beside her. "Sit, darling." A wave of whispers erupted around the room. That seat, right next to the birthday girl, was Layla's traditional place of honor. "That's my place," Layla exclaimed, rushing over, her face tight with outrage. "Mom, tell her. Make her move." "No," Grandma Emmy cut in, her tone leaving absolutely no room for argument. Her authority was absolute. "It's my birthday. I'll seat who I want, where I want. Scarlett is my guest of honor tonight." I met my father's eyes across the room. He looked away first. I sat down beside Grandma, the whispers continuing, the tension in the room thick enough to cut. The next hour was a symphony of awkward small talk and thinly veiled probing questions. Relatives I hadn't spoken to in half a decade suddenly wanted to know everything about my life. "Heard you've been living abroad?" Code for on the run. "Your little online shop still keeping you busy?" Code for haven't you failed yet? I gave them nothing, just smiled serenely, turning their questions back on them, letting them reveal their own ignorance and reliance on Layla's rumors. "Enough chit-chat," Layla finally announced, tapping her glass, her voice strained but attempting authority. She clutched a thick manila binder, the PI report, her knuckles white. "It's time for the special presentation I prepared." She moved to the small podium set up near Grandma's chair. Mother stepped forward nervously. "Before we begin, perhaps Scarlett should step out? This is rather sensitive." "No," Grandma Emmy said firmly, her gaze sweeping across the room. "Everyone stays. Especially Scarlett. This concerns her directly, after all." Layla cleared her throat, attempting to regain her composure. She looked directly at me, a triumphant, cruel smirk touching her lips again. "As you all know, family means everything to me. That's why it breaks my heart to expose what I'm about to expose." Her voice gained speed, dripping with false sincerity. Some people here have been deceiving us, living lies, pretending to be something they're not, perhaps even involved in questionable activities that threaten our family's good name. I felt it was my duty to uncover the truth, for Grandma's sake, for all our sakes." She held up the thick PI binder, a prop meant to signify irrefutable evidence. "I hired a private investigator," she announced, pride swelling her voice, "to uncover the truth about my sister Scarlett. To prove that her supposed success, her lavish lifestyle, is nothing but a fantasy built on deception and possibly illegal gains. I have his final report right here, proving she is a fraud." I leaned back in my chair, relaxed, a small, knowing smile playing on my lips. I let her talk. Let her dig. Layla opened the binder, flipping a few pages for effect. She began to read, or rather, summarize from the report, intending to paint a picture of financial ruin, instability, and lies. According to the investigator's findings, Layla said, her voice strong, Scarlett's primary business entity reports significant movement of capital and acquisition of major assets. She faltered, her brow furrowing. Those weren't the words she expected. She quickly flipped another page, glancing at a chart. And her, market penetration is listed as extensive, with robust supply chains. Confusion spread across her face, replacing the smirk with bewildered panic. She looked down at the report again, frantically scanning the page. She held the binder higher, inadvertently showing the family clear charts detailing exponential revenue growth and high-resolution photos of sprawling manufacturing facilities and international distribution centers with my company's logo visible on the trucks. The family gasped, muttering erupted. The photos, the charts, the words Layla was reading, they didn't describe a failure or a fraud. They described massive, undeniable success. Layla was holding up proof of my multi-million-dollar empire, the exact opposite of the ruin she promised. Her attempt to expose my supposed lies was revealing my undeniable truth. Layla stammered, losing her place, completely derailed. No, this isn't right. He was supposed to find. I calmly picked up my own copy of the audit report, the one detailing Layla's activities. My voice was quiet, but it cut through Layla's panicked babbling, clear and steady. Layla, I said, perhaps Mr. Mann included all of his findings? Not just the parts you wanted. Or maybe you should explain to everyone here how you paid for his services. Was that consultancy fee approved by the Heritage Foundation? All eyes snapped to me. Layla froze, her face draining of color. Grandma Emmy leaned forward, her voice like ice, sharp and commanding. Layla, she said, while we have everyone's attention, and since we're discussing investigations and financial matters, perhaps you can address the discrepancies in the Foundation's accounts. The audit report paints a rather disturbing picture of misused funds. And I believe Mr. Mann's investigation into potential sources of Scarlett's income inadvertently shed light on where those funds were being diverted, including to pay for his services. The carefully constructed facade Layla had maintained for years, the prestigious career, the financial responsibility, the picture-perfect golden child, shattered in that instant. Faced with her own paid-for proof of my success and the undeniable evidence of her crime being laid bare by Grandma, Layla let out a strangled cry. The thick PI binder slipped from her trembling hands and crashed onto the podium. She didn't scream accusations at me. She didn't try to spin lies. She just broke. Layla crumpled, sobbing hysterically, completely unraveling in front of the stunned family. She had bought the weapon to destroy me, but in her desperation and deceit, she had used it to stage her own catastrophic downfall. Robert and Caroline looked utterly horrified, their faces pale with shock and shame, not for me, but for Layla, for the scandal unfolding. The other relatives stared, whispering, the initial judgment towards me transforming into disbelief and disgust directed at Layla. I sat quietly beside Grandma Emmy, watching the chaos I had allowed to unfold. There was no triumphant smirk on my face, just a profound sense of peace. I didn't need their validation anymore. Layla's attempt to destroy me had only succeeded in elevating me and exposing her own rot. I had walked away 5 years ago with nothing but determination. I walked back in with an empire and the quiet satisfaction of knowing the truth and justice had prevailed, not because I fought dirty, but because I simply let deceit reveal itself for what it was. I caught Grandma Emmy's eye. She gave me a small, proud smile. The party was over. The family would never be the same. And Layla had paid the price for her own deception, not with money, but with everything she thought she was.